It's exactly 2 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. This is The Furnace on Crown Azania. Welcome back and welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. You can catch us. I am London, by the way, and we will be together conversing for the next hour. And you can catch us. You can catch us on all social media networks. WhatsApp. What is the WhatsApp number? I forgot the WhatsApp number. I'll give you the WhatsApp number just now, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We are coming live to you right now, as well as YouTube. You can subscribe, like, and share this video once we are done with it. And today, I am not alone. We are going to continue with our 4-part series on co-parenting. This is part 3, and next week it's gonna be our last one. And I am not alone as usual. I am with the friend of the show, Katie. How are you?
Hey guys, hello. I'm good as usual.
Okay, that's good to know. How was your week? Before we can even continue, Jay, and get on this conversation today. How was your week?
My week was cool.
That's just
cool.
one of those.
I can't wait for 2022
to end.
So,
I know. I said the same thing when they started making noise about John having to open the gates. I was like, "Wake me up when 2020 is done!" Because oh my gosh, I have nothing against the song, none whatsoever.
John must just close the gate for now.
No, Bona, he can open the gate. I don't mind him opening the gate. I'm just over people just sharing it over and over again. Like, guys, in Katela, my challenge.
But you know, South Africa, my challenge. That's our thing. We challenge on everything that comes in.
I have nothing against this, but I'm like, I've muted people on my WhatsApp because literally one person throughout the day will be posting about John opening the gate. Guys, do your John open the gates, whatever. And easy though. Like, I have nothing against it, nonetheless.
No, don't worry. Next week, John, the gates will be closed.
You know, John reminds me of Jobe last year.
John won't survive till December.
You reckon?
That's once for sure.
You reckon?
Yeah, man. It's
I don't know.
We're out in a few days.
I mean, but we said the same thing about Jobe last year.
Yeah, but Jobe was different, man.
Okay. There's that. Jobe was different. I don't know how different was Jobe.
Wow.
We're not alone. This is not only a female panel. We've got our gentle brother, the one, the only, Mr. Dakara himself. How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you guys?
We're good. How was your week?
It's hectic as usual.
Hectic,
there are lots of driving. The birthday parties that we attended, we slept. We went home at 5 this morning.
Hey, week was amazing.
Anisha legends are born in October. I'm just saying. It's not me saying. I mean, it's just like October's very oval. I mean.
Oh, please. Because of
I think it was a preparation for your birthday.
It was a pre-party for my birthday, right? Imagine how much of a troll am I to call someone's birthday party a pre-party for my birthday.
For your own. Yeah.
This is so wrong. This is so wrong on so many levels. But anyway, we're back. Welcome to it, guys. It's been I haven't really told you about my week. It was a shitty week. I will tell you some other time. I was sick. I got sick. I ended up being in hospital. Story for another day. Story for another day. But all in all, it was a shitty week. But we're here now. It's a Sunday, and we're good. We're good. So we're gonna get right into it, man. We are doing our part 3 on co-parenting. And today we are talking about child visitations as well as religious affiliations. Which one does a child take, and how do we go about this whole thing of kids visiting, child visitation rather? How do we go about it? But maybe before we get into it, do you mind like taking us through on just a little bit of a recap on what we spoke about last week?
Last week and the last 2 weeks actually.
Yeah.
I think last week we touched on one of the very, very important subject, communication lines and boundaries, because I think that's one of the things that, how do I put this? Actually break relationships. Because when you're stepping over boundaries, and then and also
You can subscribe.
Sorry.
like,
I
and
don't know what's
share
going on,
this
guys.
video.
it's technology. It's fine.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're
So
good
we
now.
don't know who talks to who. Those kind of things. And I think, like you always say, Loni, it's not like we've got solutions. So we were saying the biggest thing is that communicate, but also part of that communication involve the kids as well. Don't leave them out. So that's one of the things. But we're also talking about this thing. I think the first week, what were we talking about? We're talking about the whole child support thingy, who raises the kids, who's best to live with the child.
Yeah.
And we sort of like got to the level where we felt maybe the child, when they are younger, they are better off with the mother. And obviously, communication wise, we're saying if it's like 4 people, 3 people, 2 people, 6 people involved, get everybody around the table. Let's talk about how we're gonna go about it, how we're gonna do this thing. So and then this week, obviously, we're talking about what did we say? Child visitation.
Child visitation.
How do you? When does the child visit who? When can which parent take the child to a holiday? And obviously these days it's complicated because if both parents are in the birth certificate of the child, you must get approval from the other.
If you do anything.
Do you understand? And sometimes you find that the parent who lives with the child is more privileged in terms of they can move and do whatever they want to do. So those are the kind of things, but also religious affiliations. You get into a relationship with somebody that you're not necessarily in the same religious affiliation. Maybe even if it's Christianity, there's all sorts of different things out there. But also, what if you believe in ancestors? You have to share and then
we are
do you understand?
And the child must be present, obviously, whether it's me or it's the father who does,
Exactly. We need to dig into that, guys.
All right, that's
where do we start? Let's start with child visitations and holidays and all of that. When it's time for a child to visit, how do we get to that especially the parent who stays with a child? When is the right time to have the conversation about the splitting of time between us as parents? Also, how do we go about deciding on which holidays kids are coming to who, or child is coming to who, and which holidays are for the other? How do we how do we get there when we are still struggling maybe with communication and maybe boundaries to even begin with?
Okay, I was about to say, I think it all starts from last week. Last week was about communication.
I
think it will be much easier if we are in terms of communication, we are in good terms. If we can talk, me and the father can actually sit down and sort out real issues. If we can communicate, then I think it will be much easier, because of maybe sometimes he will want to take the child to Good Fridays or whatever. There's a lot of these holidays. Then it's easier because of you can just call me maybe during the week or whatever, however we communicate. Like, can I kupela ngwana on this coming weekend or the next 2 weeks, kupela ngwana. So I think with communications, if we have a good communication, I think it will be much easier for.
I want to ask you something before we even go further. Does it really have to come to a point where kupela ngwana on this weekend when the other party knows that it's their turn?
No.
Or when the other party knows that it's the other party's turn?
No, it's a different thing. Maybe, let's say, the father is going to a wedding or somewhere else. God, this coming next weekend. And next weekend was my turn, or the child was not visiting.
Okay, I get
so
you.
He can ask for a child. It's easier. Like, or whatever traditional thing going on, I need to bring my kid. If we have the communication on point, then it's easier for us to actually deal with the child. The child can go wherever, whenever, because we discuss it first. Rather than if we don't talk at all, when you say I'm going to a wedding, hey, it's going to be because of we don't have that good communication. It's going to be, where are you taking my child? What, you know, like communication is the first thing of fixing everything, you know. Like I won't even use the word my child because it's actually our child. So, you know, if you don't have that communication going on, then it's going to be your child. Not
well, the
his
good
child.
thing about Venek, you don't have to say umtanethu. You can say umntwana, you know, or umwana.
But you know, as soon as you say my child, then you know that
How do one
communication.
that's
Then you know
another
that
thing.
the mother and the father, they don't have their communication on point. or
No, I
something
get
like
you.
that,
I totally get you. I want to ask before we can even go further in terms of maybe the religious part of it and the traditional part of it. How do we sit down and have this conversation about holidays, honestly, and not step on each other's toes? I'm gonna ask you as a man. You say you have a child ngaphandle with someone else other than your wife. How did that conversation come about, and how was it had on when we go on a holiday, when and who takes the child when? How did that conversation come about?
I've never had that conversation.
That's interesting. So how do you maneuver through it?
That's the thing. Like, I think some of these things sometimes, and that's the tricky part, because when we're talking about it, guys, communicate. You sort of like take it, you know what, no, it's a given. When I want to go on a holiday, we're going to take the other child as well, then the wife or the partner must just agree to it. And it's not really the case. You might find that the other parties are grieved by whatever it is that you probably do.
Yeah.
But I think what has worked for me is that it's okay. I don't live with the other child, but then and he sort of like visits during school holidays once in a while, right?
Yeah.
But also now, and obviously I do go and see him and all those kind of things. But if it's a thing of, let's say, it's a holiday, the general rule is that we want to still, even if he's out there, he must not be, he must still have the privilege of accessing the other siblings or half siblings. So if we are going out there, we need to then go all together, because this is the danger, especially kids these days. They've got phones, they talk and all that. They're gonna post things. Imagine they are communicating.
Oh yeah, that.
They are communicating, and then I'm sort of like out there, or they are communicating. The other one is having fun. That's right. The other one is not.
Yeah, Nikhil, can we expand this a little bit in terms of, are you forced to take my, let's say we have a kid together and then I have other kids, like are you forced to actually take your own kid together with the siblings which they are not
your kids?
But
before we go there, put that one on pause. When you say I sometimes go see him, do you go alone or with your significant other?
It depends. So there are times where I go alone, and there are times
so
where I go together.
when you go alone.
Say for example, I have to drop him something, and I was somewhere on the way. Then I can just pass him.
And your significant other is okay with this. This is the type of conversation we've had openly. But sometimes there are gonna be times.
Where I'm saying, reflecting now, is to say maybe we don't communicate enough. And you probably find that the other party maybe is aggrieved, but she probably doesn't want to say it.
Okay.
Do you understand? And maybe if we get to communicate and say this is how we're doing things, and everybody is clear.
Because at the end of the day, we all need to be involved in this. If the father of the child has a partner and I have the partner, we all need to be involved in this. Because
definitely.
At the end of the day, he's coming to pick up the kid. Maybe
or drop off
or drop off the kid at night, and I need to go out and go get the kid. You know, my partner must understand that the father of the kid is bringing the kid or is coming to collect the kid.
No, I get you.
You get the point. We must all be we must all
on the same page.
On the same page. Be able to sit down and discuss everything. What are the do's and what are the don'ts? But I don't really think that our issues has to affect the kids. I mean, I don't believe in that. So let's just take out the kids out of this whole situation, be adults, and find out a way of, you know, taking care of the kids without.
Cool. I get you. Going back to the question that KB asked you, we say how do you
are you forced?
or do you feel obligated as well to to take
The other
the
kids.
half siblings when you come, maybe
I
to
don't-
take
And in
if it's-
terms of clothes, when you buy
Yeah.
your blood child clothes, do you buy like sneakers nyana for the smaller nyana one who's not yours? What do you do? How do you handle
Yeah.
this?
I think what helps with us, especially being African, is that once these children, whether they came with your partner or your partner found them, the best way, I think the African way, we do it better because we then take these kids as the family children. No, like for me, I
Yeah,
suppose.
well, yeah,
So these
all
are
of
family
us.
children. So when it comes to that, then there's no discrimination
Okay, I
of
get you.
who do we take. No, all of them. And like it goes back to that thing of saying it's not an obligation per se. It's to look at it from a point of view. You know what, these are kids. They didn't
After
bring
all,
this situation to them,
they
so
don't
don't
know
disadvantage them
Yeah, okay.
because of that.
Okay,
But-
I get you. I
But
get
does
you.
every guy agree with that? Because I think you are the nice person. Other guys
No,
will take.
maybe I'm
I
trying to be
think you
nice
are
for
the
the
nice
show.
Yeah,
person.
I know. I think like other guys will just agree on taking their own. But I guess again it depends if we're going on a holiday to Mozambique or we're going to Gold Reef City. You know, if you're going to Gold Reef City, yeah,
For
I mean,
like a
you can take- for
weekend.
like a weekend, you can take.
But
all
it's
them.
also tricky because I mean there's this element of saying, you know, if for example I don't live with the okay, I've got a baby with you, you live somewhere, you are married now, you've got other kids that side.
Yeah.
Now I'm coming to fetch or to see my son from your side, right? Or I want to fetch him to go on a holiday.
Yeah.
Or I'm fetching him so that he comes to visit.
Yeah.
You know, so that do I take the others
all over.
who are on the other side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, okay, yes, my take. No.
Yeah, because
No.
that's why I said you are a very nice person to take all the kids on a holiday.
No, remember now, there's also the tricky part is that say you are married on the other side. What does your husband,
the husband
say
say
as well
when
about?
you
Will he
take-
allow you to say
Okay, I
this?
hear you.
Can I trust your ex
I
with
hear
my
you.
children?
But he's trusting you with his.
No, but remember now,
Yeah,
he probably
you
will
guys-
feel it because this one is I'm the
Oh,
father, it's
there's
my
gonna
blood.
be that
He'll
thing
be
of
okay.
mistreating
Okay.
the
But
others.
now-
I
Well,
get I get what you're saying.
And that's the thing. Now, this one, the one who's my blood, take them home. He goes back that side to the other house, to the other half siblings. And then they start talking about, how was your holiday? How did it go there? And then he comes back with some goodies, some clothes, some what. Do you then even buy the other ones as well? Because he's gonna. And this is the tricky part.
Can I just quickly interject there? Like honestly, this is just a me thing. Again, it has nothing to do with the next person, and another person might feel differently from what I feel. If that's the case, and you took your child away for a holiday in Mauritius, Zanzibar, whatever the case may be, and obviously his or her half siblings are not there, being the person that I am, I'm not speaking for other people, I'm just speaking for me now.
Yes.
Being the person that I am, knowing ukuthi kunabantwana abayi-2 or abayi-3 or whatever the case may be who are left at home, the least I can do is to get them some sort of a gift.
The
or
African
some-
way.
You know?
That's why I do the same thing with my own daughter. You know that Onalina comes on the holidays, every holiday is
Yeah.
March, June. But then I know that there are other kids at home, which I call them my kids. But Onalina will go from here with a lot of things, but at least I'll make sure that Kopano gets something, the other one gets something,
Yeah,
Kappa
yeah.
gets something, you know, even if it's one item, but it's the African way.
Right.
Just
I
like
think
you
it's
said.
just an Ubuntu thing.
It's- yeah, it's
knowing
just
ukuthi
an-
lo mntwana is
yeah.
going back home with a whole lot of things and a whole lot of new things, toys, whatever the
Yeah,
case may
yeah,
be.
yeah.
The least you can do is to buy them like a ball, a t-shirt,
You know,
something
yeah,
just
sneakers,
a
whatever.
one.
Yeah, Linda, that's what I do just to, you know, to make
Susa.
even to you, it gives them that thing of caring for each other, loving each
Yeah.
other, because of they know that, you know, we are one, man.
Also,
we are
the,
family,
good,
we are
the
siblings.
good thing about our kids is that like, our kids are very smart. I did say last week, we don't give our kids too much enough credit. Yeah, our kids are very smart. I know for a fact, Tuguti, one would say, how mama, you bought me this, how about we buy mang whatever, because they know they stay with this other kid, they know what they like, and
And
they're
also
like,
as a
how can we
parent,
get him a ball, can we
Yeah.
get my
Yeah.
sister, my other sister
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
can I
yeah.
it's
It's-
just
it's
an
like
Ubuntu
that.
thing. I honestly don't think it has anything to do with parenting and co-parenting. It's just an
Yeah, that's why
Yes.
even as a parent as well, you must think that because of your kid is also staying with other kids.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's going on that side, and even if some bad things are going on, maybe they are not buying the kid something, but if you keep on doing it, maybe the other parents that side might
there's
change
that as well. There's a chance
So
of learning
yeah,
for the
there's a
other
chance,
parent. And
so
those are the
working
things we
together.
overlook very often. We really overlook those things. With even sometimes our behavior and our pattern on doing things can influence the
Yeah,
next
teach
person,
others.
and teach
But
them
also,
to do.
like, I think, like you guys are saying, it's an Ubuntu thing. Like, if you know that this other child lives with the mother that side, if I'm the father, and then I buy him something, I know there's other kids that side, get something for them. That's a good thing. But now you come to a parent, let's say the other father that side, who says, oh, this one, did I say I can't support my kids?
I get you.
So
Men
now,
and
now,
egos.
It boils down to the communication thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
some people, especially men with their ego and their pride,
Oh.
they feel, you know what?
Egotistical men, yes.
Exactly. So if somebody is buying certain things for my children, I start to feel like, oh, what does he think? Does he think I can afford
Yeah.
my children?
Not like
I don't need this.
Xbox.
You will like, exactly. I don't need this. What? I don't need this support. I don't need him to help me. I'm managing. I'm doing fine.
But it's not for you as parents.
That's
it's
why.
for the kids.
That's why it
Just
takes
let your
maturity
egos-
to move
Exactly.
from the selfishness
But-
and think about the kids.
The
But
kids.
other than that whole thing making you other than it taking maturity, whatever the case may be, it's just one of those conversations when you're sitting on the table and talking about co-parenting together. These are the topics you are supposed to bring
Yeah.
up.
What do we buy for the kids? What
do you
not
do you
buy?
guys have a problem if I
Yeah.
buy my son a car and maybe buy your the
Your
other
son
kids?
Xbox.
We don't even
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
your. We say
Yeah.
the other
The
kids
other
maybe
kids.
but again kid what's that joy thing? Kinder joy, whatever that.
Oh.
Whatever. Like, but I'm
Yeah.
just making an example.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Would it be awkward for you if obviously this one comes to me for a weekend and he comes with a new toy? Would it be awkward for you if I bought even the other ones? And, like, let's have this conversation
But
now
also-
so that the lines are not blurred and
That's-
the communication is clear and open and the boundaries are not you don't overstep on the other
And
person's
also
boundary.
respecting the family. You obviously,
Yeah.
you and your wife have how you set your household.
Yeah.
I must also respect how you do things. Maybe you don't want TV in your house, and then like it busy the Xbox, your mom, and then you don't want the kids
Yeah.
to have those things. That's where the communication comes in. Like, can
But
we
now,
sit down
and while we're talking about that, for example, what happens, say we've got a baby, right? From your side, you don't want those Xboxes, you don't want kids being too much on TV. But when he visits me, my son or my daughter, from your side, when they visit this side, the other kids have that privilege. We're okay with it, they play with that. Don't you think that's also a problem? Now you're raising kids.
It could cause friction.
Yeah, exactly, and it goes to the even religious part. But this particular one,
even the hatred, I think.
Yeah.
The kid might come
Yeah,
back
them-
hating the stepfather.
Exactly.
Because
Like,
there's
you don't
a
want
thin
us that to
line.
be.
Of course, because there's a thin line between
Yeah.
those things.
But can you-
discipline and just being outright evil. You
no,
know?
not true.
Talk
But
to
but
kids.
if you in a nucleus family like that, right? How do you then manage the fact that in that other household, this is how they do
this
things?
is how, yeah.
I'm talking now. Remember, we talked about communication.
That is really
now you have to
hard.
sit around the table
Yeah.
and say.
Something wrong with the...
You have to sit around the table and say.
Something went. This is what happens when you do a live show, people. But hey, we're here. We continue with this conversation. I never really thought of it that way because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, honestly, if I don't want my kids, say for instance, I don't want my kids to have sugar type of thing. I don't want my kids to have, or my child to have soda.
Yeah.
and we stick to juices and tea because they kids teas and whatever.
Yeah.
And they go to the other
They go
household.
back home, yeah.
Abantwana bakhona at 4 years they are drinking Coca-Cola and mina line
And coffee.
and coffee and line in amongst no freaking ways.
Yeah,
There's no
I
child
want
of
some
my
no coffee for
how it's the little things like that. How do we come to to an understanding and come to one accord when it comes to such things?
I think now that takes us to how do you raise your kids? You know, how do we raise our kids?
But this is the child, or these are kids who are raised in two different households
Listen
by
to me.
two different parents
Yeah.
and two different sets of rules.
Listen to me. When I say now it takes us back to how you raise your kids. It's back to us as parents. How do I raise my kids in my own household? And then how do you raise your kids in your own household? You know, kids are kids. You can teach them whatever and they learn very fast. Then you need to talk to your kids, make them understand. I get we sat down together as parents and we were like, okay, my kids, there's no TV in my house. So if the kids are coming to your house and they are playing with the TV, make them understand, talk to them. Even me, this side, I must talk to the kids like, okay, you know that there is no TV here. You go in that side, there's Xbox and all kinds of TVs. So do not compare. That's why you talk to your kids, you teach your kids. It's going to take them
hard.
It's going to take them time to understand,
really,
but then
really hard because you're
but
talking to a 5-year-old here who is easily swayed by whatever that he sees or she sees in front of her.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to take time for like the like maybe the 6 years, 7, 8, 9. But the older they get, as long as they understand, you've been teaching them this thing, you've been telling them this thing, it's in their head. They can't hate on the household that does not have a TV.
Of course.
You know, they're going to understand. But if you don't talk to them, it's easier for a kid to come with a hatred. And like, you know what, in this household, there's no TV, so I hate whoever, the dad, because of he's always angry and don't want us to watch the TV. But then instilling it in the kids, the respect and everything, I think that could help.
I want to throw in a question that a lot of parents wouldn't even think of until this thing really happens. What happens? What happens when your child resists to go to the other house because they don't do things the way you do it in this household where he or she stays full time?
But yeah, and that's the thing. And maybe just to, before I even answer, to take you a little bit back.
Yeah.
How do you then make sure that, can you even ever make sure that the things that are done in this household are also done on the other side?
No way.
Say you sit around the table.
way.
How do you find a common ground? Because that's the first thing that will then determine how the kids will relate with this household and that household.
Totally.
That's what I'm saying. Talking helps as the parents.
And then now you need to then involve, after you have talked as parents, then involve the kids to say, this is what we do this.
I think the mistake we make as parents is to make all these decisions all by ourselves and we don't involve kids at all. Also, I go back to this thing. It doesn't matter how small you think they are. Their minds are very advanced.
Instill it in their minds. They will someday get it.
Also, that's how you teach your kids communication. Don't you think? Don't you think that's where you teach them? Good, in life, there has to be open lines of communications, and this is how you go about things.
And
if you keep things on the dark, and you keep kids on the dark, rest assured,
because
they will struggle with communication as time goes on.
They don't understand. They are confused, and nobody's explaining anything to them. So how do you expect them to be okay in life, or not throw out hatred, or not, have
or just being
depression?
closed off and not share things and not communicate and just be those kids who's like, they're gonna make decisions for me anyway, so I might as well just
you find
keep
that
quiet.
the kid gets into the car with headsets on.
Which is one of the things I never understand.
And then it's now disrespectful to my household, and maybe let's say my husband is the one going to fetch them from the other side.
And
then he comes back with this moods in jail of, But if you communicate with the kids, trust me, it's easier. Also, again, it takes us back to parents. Okay. Let's not have an unwanted hatred.
But there's something, there's an element that we seem to neglect a little bit every time we speak about co-parenting, the grandparents, because sometimes our kids don't stay with me, don't stay with you, they stay with our parents, or with one of our parents, one of the pair.
Yeah.
How does this conversation of visitation come about? Because umntwana full-time stays with my mom or his mom.
Or the guardian.
Or
it could be
whomever.
anybody.
Or my
aunt.
sister, or
as
your
long as
sister,
it's
or
the
whatever
guardian.
the case.
Yeah.
How do we come about this? How do we go about this whole conversation of visitation when akahlali nami akahlali nawe, but there are school holidays, there are weekends, there's this. How do we make it work in that particular situation?
Because I think it goes back to, again, that community. If the person who's raising your kids, it's your mother, then you also need to set the rules to say, this is what I want my child to be raised. I don't want you to do 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want you to expose them into this and that. Because have you noticed?
Okay.
Have you
That
noticed?
is quite tricky because
Yeah.
let's say let me make an example. Ngami. The twins are being raised by my mom, a staunch Christian. Have her church, have her own
And
church,
you wanna-
whatever.
want to put
I'm
some
not there,
slaves.
and I want to come here and say, yeah, but maybe for me right now, Christianity is not a thing, and I expect
Your children to follow them.
it's a very
But-
complicated
I
thing.
actually wanted to touch on that when you get to the religion. Can we
Yeah,
when you get
let's
to the
put it there.
because of I
No,
I
but-
have a question.
But other than the
concerning what
religious
is-
part of things, I know how I was raised. And my aunt is raising my kids the way she was raised and the way I was raised.
the way she knows how, yeah.
The way she knows how. And I want my kids to be raised a certain way.
And he's
How
not
do-
married, and he's not married to the kids, so they're not gonna take his word.
Exactly. So also
There's
I don't know
issues.
whether with other cultures it's the same thing, but with the Zulu culture, umntwana mayihlala kamama wakhe, whatever happens kamama wakhe, that's what the
That
child
goes.
does,
And
and
that's-
that's what goes. I don't know with other cultures.
And
I don't.
No, but it's how do I put this? I think it's expected that that's what's gonna happen.
Okay.
Even if you
Yeah,
can try
because-
and
yeah.
try and instill your own
It's
ideas
not-
to the
yeah.
child, you don't live with this child
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah,
And
get
kids mainly take from what they are seeing, not what they are hearing.
But don't you think we confuse our kids in most cases because they are growing up with their grandparents, for instance, and they're living a certain type of life. And maybe when they come to me, they get to taste a little bit of that because in as much as I have a life of my own, I still, like my childhood is still my template type of thing. And they get a little bit of that and a little bit of freedom, and then they go to their father's side, and that's a complete different environment. Maybe also we're not even of the same tribe. I'm from,
It gets complicated.
I'm from a certain tribe, and we do things a certain way. In as much as abantwana bami, they're being brought up this way, and they come sometimes on holidays and chill with me. We do things a little bit that way and a little bit of my way as an adult, as a modern person, or whatever the case may be. And then there are times where they're going to be with their father. Their father may be Tswana, Tonga, whatever the case may be, Sotho, whatever. And then they have to go in and experience that whole life. Don't you think that sometimes we do confuse our kids?
But what
But
do
then-
we do? Should I then say, will it be better? And we'll talk about this, especially when it comes to religion, because that's very tricky.
Yeah.
Is it then better that we say, no, guys, let's restrict ourselves to our own tribe because we want to bring up the kids in that? Do we do that, or we say, no, free for all?
Yeah.
Let's find a way to make it work. If I'm married to, say, a white lady, the culture there is just different.
Way too different.
But
So-
then, guys, sorry, finish talking.
No, it's fine.
Nekirikiri, you forget that we are Africans. Okay, we're talking about marriage stuff, right? Because there's a situation where
Not necessarily, though.
Okay,
Even
that's
you're
why I
making
want
a
to-
baby with that,
Yeah.
with the person.
let's say we are not married and then we broke up. That's the different
But
situation
also,
because of
KB,
now. The kid stays with my aunt or my grandmother.
But KB, let's not also forget, and somebody brought this thing up last time, let's also not forget that the co-parenting does not necessarily mean that the child is out there. we can be married. You are white, I'm black, we are raising kids here at home.
Yeah.
How do you even, so do you understand it can also be the kids, your common kids here at home. You have got different ideas about how you want to raise your kids. I've got different ideas.
Yeah.
Me now, like at home, we go and, school manaba pansi, and then we throw when you want to take my kids to church.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And then I feel aggrieved, no. That's why I was asking the question. Should I then say, Mara, maybe when I want to make a baby with somebody, or when I want to have somebody as a life partner, whether we're going to break up later or not, that's immaterial. But I must choose within my tribe, somebody that already knows how to deal with that. But, we're living in the global world right now.
Yeah.
How do you expect me to go find a girl in Venda when for the past 20 years I've been in Pretoria?
Yeah.
Because I remember my mom once said to me, no man, you cannot marry a lady from that side. Isn't there girls here? I'm like, okay, fine. There is also Venda girls in Pretoria, right? But just come there and show me which one is Venda. Find them acting and doing whatever that they're doing. Show me which one is Venda amongst them. The culture has sort of like been blended. And besides, I'm not going to travel to Venda and marry some girl I don't even know.
Yeah, you don't even know, yeah, obviously. And you don't even stay there anymore. Like,
Exactly.
you don't even,
Also, you're an evolved person.
even your mind, like maybe there's no one in Venda that's compatible,
Also,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
an evolved person from a boy who was raised in Venda until you reached matric, from first year in tertiary to what you are today.
So
You
it's
are a
not-
completely
So
different
that's
person.
why I was trying to answer this question to say there is no way that you are going to really, with the world how it's going, we are interacting a lot. There's no way that you're going to restrict yourself to say,
Yeah,
no,
definitely.
I'm going to go with my culture or my tribe. Then that's when it poses the challenges to say, now, Londi, you coming into my life with your Zulu ways of doing things.
Yeah.
I'm coming into your life with my Venda ways of doing things.
And
There's
also-
kids now. How do we do this thing?
Also,
But
when I say,
I think
what makes this whole conversation so complex is that I may come to you right now and say, I was raised in a Zulu household, but maybe I wasn't raised in a Zulu household alone, because maybe my mom was Zulu and my dad was whatever. I was raised between these two households, and now I'm an adult who has these, for a lack of a better phrase, two identities, and I am trying
And that has
to...
shaped you.
That has shaped
Now
me.
you
These two
come-
identities that shaped
now
me.
she
And
comes
now I
into
have
my
a
life.
child with someone who's not Zulu or whatever my dad is.
But you see now, my challenge is
and
also
it's
that
just like so complicated.
now you come into my life with your colored and Zulu ways. Now I have to deal with two personalities.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah, but then, okay, my question, what I wanted to ask was, actually wanted to say something in what you said. Like, is it wrong for the kids to actually do both? I mean, if I'm colored...
I don't think there's anything wrong
There's
with
nothing
the
wrong.
kids
because
doing
of,
both.
we
I
can't fight
honestly-
trying to
Also,
find...
my thing is, I don't know, maybe again, I'm being too optimistic here. I feel like we need to get to a point where my kids understand, when with mama or my mom's family, this is what we do. And when we are with our dad and our dad's family, this is what we do. Until a certain age where we can literally decide on our own what is it that we want to do for ourselves. And I think these are the times where you should have those conversations with your kid and be like, look, like Haya, this is what we are about and this is what we do. That's not what we say you should do. But right now you're kids and we would rather you go this way. But we're not saying if at your dad's house they're about this life and that other life, you don't do that. Maybe until the time you decide on your own. But when do you have those conversations again with your child? At what age do you have those conversations with your child? We would say, at the end of the day, it's about you.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you need to decide what kind of life you want to
And
live
you
for
cannot
yourself.
have that conversation with the child when they're still young, because they don't
Of
even
course, I mean, I
understand.
can't sit down with a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old and be like, at the end of the day, you need to choose. But I can only say, like Kaya, this is what we do. And at your dad's house, this is what they do. So until a certain point in your life, just go with the flow. Do you think that's the right way to go about it? I don't
think
know.
most of us are going
No,
with the flow.
I think it is, because of what else are you going to do? I
What
mean, you
else
can't...
are you gonna do
you
a
can't
very
say
good
yeah.
question.
You can't tell the kids to no, don't no. You can't.
That
Just
is a very
rather
good
just-
question.
Yeah.
I have a comment.
I also do. I think go for
I have a
it.
comment
Yeah.
from he says he wants to be anonymous. It's like, first of all, I wouldn't be with someone who has a different religion or traditional affiliation different from mine. So if I see that we are too different in that regard, we first of all, we cannot have kids. Second to that, I can't continue this relationship with you.
So yeah, I think we'll comment more when we get to the religion part of it.
Yeah.
Do you have something, KB? I wanna read this.
No, you can
No.
go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
Mama says, okay, it says the child must decide for themselves.
Of course, but
Neither
when
of-
does a 3-year-old decide for
Yeah,
themselves?
and that's the
Sorry.
thing, because she's saying, okay, it's up to the child. But then, when it comes to, I think these religious affiliations and all, they're saying, okay, they have to attend both sides, right? They are both parents. That way, it will give the child a choice to still decide for themselves when they are grown. So
Yeah.
basically saying you must expose the child to both.
To both.
Yes.
And that's
That is what I was saying. Do we just go with the flow? Mangabe like kaya, like magalondi ba sonta kashembe. When the child is here, ngalawa ma holiday on those weekends, we are kashembe. Mara next week my ebushir. You know what I mean? Do we just go with the flow?
and that's the thing. Does that also not confuse the kids? I think we'll talk about it now.
No,
when
but
we
I
do-
think just like we said, the younger they are, they can't get confused, right? So
yeah,
the
but
older
who
they
decides?
get,
Who
they
decides
will
when they're
get.
younger?
But who
Who
decides?
Who decides
When they are younger.
When they're young, and that's what I'm saying. Let's touch it when we come to the religion now. Can I
Yeah,
read this as well?
definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody
I
says-
think that's the in the next minute or so we'll be going. Let's
Into
just
that one.
switch to
We
the
move it,
religion
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
It says, okay, this is tricky, but the child should not be limited to one belief, and this it's building up to the.
I totally
Okay,
agree with
yeah.
that person. The
To-
child must never be limited to one belief, because at the end of the day, you grow up to be a person of your own, and all you've known is this. When you go outside, there's this, that, and that,
everything, yeah.
and you get so confused.
You understand?
So I think it's one of those things where you can literally sit down with the child and be like, look, in this household, this is what they've chosen, but they've chosen this from A, B, C, D, E, F,
You
G.
write into this comment. Let me continue because it says here. Okay, the child should not be limited to one belief or religion. He or she must be educated of both parents' religion. Parents should not even say bad things about the belief of the other parent. And as the child grows older, he or she will make their own independent choice of which religion he or she wants to continue with. My husband and I are both Christians, but our churches differ.
Oh,
He's
definitely.
ZCC. He's ZCC, while on the other hand, I'm Zalwani. We visit each other's churches. Our kids attend both churches, and it's okay. We
Yeah,
don't
okay.
condemn or discourage each other's Christianity at all. We have made our personalized family religion, and it works for us just fine. However, that could be a different thing altogether when parents are separated. And we practice same with stepkids. They do what we do here when they are here, and do what their mother does when they are with their mother on the other side.
Ooh.
Guys, I think we should clap for these two. Like ZCC and Mazelwani, they have no problems at all. Because there's always judging when it comes to religion.
Yeah.
That's why that discussing religion in J, it's just a heavy thing to discuss.
But
It
it's
is.
and
It
now-
is. It's a very heavy thing to
It
discuss.
is, especially
Exactly.
if Mazelwani and the other Christian, they have different ways of doing things. So
Yeah.
they always judge each other. I'm like, but we are all Christian people.
And I mean, I had a conversation with, and again, I think this is another type of I don't know whether we should call it co-parenting as well, or maybe let's just call it parenting. When both the parents or one of the parents passes away, and the child is left with a certain guardian, ne? And then all this child knows is what that guardian is literally feeding them. And then it gets to a point where he or she grows up and she'll be like, I'm not about this life.
Who am I?
Well, good and fine, nice, you've done well, and I appreciate that you've taken me under your wing and whatever the case may be, but I'm about this life. Or I'm confused, I'm trying to figure it out type of thing. those conversations are very difficult to have because personally I've had to go through those conversations with my aunt who took over when my mom passed away,
Yeah.
and she became my mom because she's my mother's sister. And I got to a point where I was like, look, all my life I was raised as a Christian child, joined
That's all you knew.
Sunday school, worshipped him, that's all but now I'm an adult, and I'm at a point where I'm like, hold up,
There's more.
there should be more to life than this. And I'm trying to explore these other things that are, maybe these other worlds I was never introduced to. And it
Do you think
it may
you're gonna
it
be
may
better
never
off
it may
exposed
not be
at a
the,
younger age?
I think so.
But I think it's part of growth, man. I
It
think
is
everybody,
part
when
of
you
growth,
grow up,
but
you
I
wanna-
feel like I feel like when you are brought up in this particular way, there's other ways are evil.
No, but when
You
you,
know?
when you grow up, you wanna test things. That's what I'm saying. As a young person or as a whatever, you might be blinded by what you grew up
But
in.
that's what we
But then when you
see.
grow up, yeah, but it's part of growing up.
But that's what we're saying.
Nobody
Kids,
should
maybe
punish
we
for
should
that.
expose our kids and tell our kids at a very young age because there's more to what we are
But you see,
teaching
but
you.
don't you
type of
have
thing.
a mindset of saying, you know what, I already know as an elder or as an older person, I'm the parent, I already know that religion, the mother.
How do you know that?
No, because remember, like maybe I was the one exposed. Now I
No,
feel
that's
like
what I'm
I want to
saying,
protect
yeah.
the kids.
Yeah,
You
I
have
get,
those
but
kinds of
Takes us
context-
back to stop saying bad things about religion.
I have one question.
I'm not even saying it to
Now I
the
have a
kids. I'm
question.
just protecting my kids. I
I
don't
have a
want my kids
question,
to
Dee.
drink cooking oil. I'm
before
just
you
thinking-
even move on to the kid, whatever, whomever drinking, cooking, or I have one question and one question only: protecting the kids from what?
Exactly.
But you
Because they're
see,
still gonna be
guys,
exposed,
remember,
right?
think about it, how you were raised. Whenever your parents felt like you're going to get into something or you're going to expose yourself to danger, they just probably just want to say something and stop you from there. They were protecting you from whatever they felt like.
But
And
this
those
is-
are the tendencies that we're talking about. to
This
say,
is what we're saying. Parents must let their kids grow up because
Yeah.
of everybody who grows up will go. You will you can never.
it's a different, guys.
A manual of life.
But the
Nobody
beauty,
has a
the
manual of
beauty
life.
of it all is the times we live in. You know, I don't think back in the days they appreciated the times they lived in as much as we do right now. We feel like we can teach our kids whatever that we want to teach them. Next,
But it
we
goes
can
back-
we can raise our kids any way we feel
We
that
want.
we could. But back in the days, they had some sort of a template as to this is how you raise kids, this is how you wife, this is how you parent, this is how you husband.
It's like there's a
type of-
manual
yeah,
of
there's a
some
manual.
sort.
But in this day and age, we're at a point in our lives where we're like, hold up, we question things. Since we question things as individuals, we can't now to our kids be like, yeah, but you can't question that, and say, yeah, but we can't give you that information, or but we are really at an advantage to say, oh, this is how I was brought up. I don't want to bring you up this way. And right now kids ask questions, and right now parents share things with their kids. How about we embark on that exchange
but you
between
see, Louise,
adults and kids?
with the comment that you just read there, somebody, when we're going to this religion thing, somebody was saying, we're not even going to make a baby if we're not from the same.
Right?
So
These
that's
are the
that-
conversations
and-
we're
and
having
so-
as adults
exactly. So
in the
that's what I'm
21st
saying.
century.
That's what I'm saying. There's still people out there who, and it's a preference thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
He prefers, you know what, I want to bring my kids in, I don't want confusion, or I don't want to take them, or mommy take them to ZCC, and then I take them to Bazwalani side. I would rather just go find somebody who is Christian or who's Muzalane like
Or who's
me,
atheist.
and so that
Yeah.
we bring, then we avoid those things of going
So that's-
into that.
That's just one person being a coward, right? I would take it that way because of like I
No,
wouldn't
I don't think
limit
so. It's a
myself.
preference.
It's a
thing.
yeah, but it's more like you are scared of actually raising a child from different cultures or tribes.
But then
No.
you must understand, Kate,
But
that
what if-
it might not be fear, but it might just be this is how he was brought up and this is all he knows,
But
and
also,
he's okay and willing to just stay
but
in that
maybe
mentality.
not only that, lonely, over and above that, it can also go back to that thing that I was saying. As a parent, I feel, you know what, I'm trying to, the whole thing of saying I'm protecting kids, but it's maybe because my experience with the other thing, because I've tried it, it didn't work. I'm like, no, I don't want that for my kids. I don't want them to be, and that's what I'm saying, it's a personal choice, it's a preference.
Yeah.
Get you,
It all depends on how a parent thinks, right? Because of, if you are in that state of mind where you think like I should protect my kids, I get you completely. Like, you know, there are things that you can protect your kids from. There are things that you have to just let your kids go through, because of, you will never know after all what they're going to experience. They might not come up with the same experience as you did, you know. But there are those things that you can actually say to them, like, no, don't go that way, you know, the other way, that way leads astray, take this way. But there are other things that I think,
But you know, maybe, you know, the reason why I'm saying this is that religion, belief system, is such a powerful thing.
and a broad thing.
And you know, the thing about it is that it actually shapes how you interact with the world and everybody. I'll tell you why I'm saying that. Can you imagine, say you, how do I put this? Say you are, what is this word? You are an atheist or something like that. I'm Christian. I believe in God. You don't believe in those God things. You grew up with it and it's embedded in you, right? And I come to you now, I want to sort of like expose you to my religion. Even if there was a chance that you might actually start to see things differently and change, do you know how hard it's going to be for you to move and be converted?
It's
Because
the same thing
you're
as
built
a Christian
up as a
being
child.
converted
The same
to
way,
an
no, the
atheist.
same thing. Do you understand? Okay, the thing is, okay, I'll give you an example now. Let me give an example with something practical. The Catholics or most of the other churches, how do you put them? Let me just,
Charismatic.
not the Catholic type.
Um,
Lutheran, Catholic.
Luther, yeah,
They've
yeah.
got the belief system. They not necessarily tradition.
Yeah.
The traditional churches. They baptize kids, right? They sprinkle water.
Baptize and what do we call them?
Confirming and
yeah,
whatever.
confirmation. Yeah.
But I'm talking baptism now.
What is there's a difference?
Yes, there's a difference.
Oh my gosh, now that's another topic for another
there's
day.
a difference. So what they do,
I didn't know.
what they do is that their baptism is that they sprinkle water on the baby.
Okay.
Understandably so.
That's baptism.
That's the
And
baptism.
then confirmation.
Hey, we'll get into it as well.
Okay, cool. Story for another day.
And then the Vasaloni side of life, what they do is that they don't believe in baptizing kids.
You need to accept Jesus
You need
as
to
your
accept
Lord
Jesus
and
and be
Savior.
converted. And you can only
okay,
accept
cool.
Jesus
I
when
get
you
that.
understand what's
I
going
totally
on, right?
get that.
Now, you say you're Catholic and I'm Christian, and then we have a baby together. First
Even
of all,
not just Christian, but maybe charismatic.
no, yeah. So I'm charismatic, you Catholic. You want to take our child to be baptized, and I'm like, no, I don't believe in that. You cannot baptize my child.
Oh.
So now you are in that dilemma right now, right? Because you remember we are reading the same Bible. We're not even atheist or anything like that.
Yeah.
We're reading the same Bible, but the things that we do
It's
are
just
different with this whether it's
interpretation.
do you understand?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
how do you then manage? This is why I'm saying, okay, because now we can say, okay, let me let the mother go and do their things and baptize, right?
You
and
are
sprinkle-
bringing
listen,
fire into this, man.
let me let the mother go baptize the child, sprinkle water and whatever that they do. But I'll be like, okay, when he's grown, because he's growing up with us, he's seeing both things, he will choose what he wants.
Definitely.
Then later when he's grown, the mother's like, no, you were baptized. You don't have to go shilling the water.
There's something like, how do we, how
That is
does this
so
whole
deep.
thing- how does this whole thing work? Because like it's confusing.
That is
like,
so deep, you guys. You don't understand. That is like, yo, I didn't look at it that way. Jeez, man.
still not back.
That is so deep. I'm good here. I'm good over here.
Me too.
That is so deep.
But-
because
but
I never
can't we
really
let it
thought of
go?
it that I never thought of it that way. And it's jeez.
That's what I'm saying, guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, isn't it like why? Why can't we just just let it go. That.
But there's before we can even move forward from all of this, just to let everybody know, it looks like we're not going to be wrapping up anytime soon. So give us another couple of minutes and then we'll wrap up. We were supposed to wrap up at 3, but we can't. I mean, this is getting heated, you know.
But that's what I'm saying, Londi. Religion, belief.
I get that. I want to come to what you mentioned earlier on, convention. When you convert, when one party decides to convert, say I meet a non-African man, ne? And he's Muslim, whatever, Muslim or there's this one, Jewish. He's Jewish, he's Muslim, whatever. But don't you think, guys, that we are a little bit unfair when it's African to African or whatever the case may be, when we say there's gonna come a time where our child will have to choose, whatever the case may be. When honestly, when as adults, as people who are aware of things, that I met this non-African man, or even an African man whose booty who's a Muslim or a Jewish. I make a decision on my own as a female, and like, yes, I was brought up in a Christian family, but I want to follow my husband or my boyfriend or whatever, my partner.
And traditionally with us black people, it's been like, it's expected that as a woman you must follow the guy.
I want to ask something again concerning tradition, because of again, it's a different story. You see, you touched on tradition. There's this thing on tradition that mwanake wa munna.
We spoke about that last week, but we need to really go into details
because
about
that's
that.
I'm thinking, if it's religion, and then Dagalo, you are Muslim, and then I'm African, and then I'm Christian, and then we are not together. But then at the end of the day, so does that mean Mwana must follow? But at the same time, you're always running away.
Yeah.
Do I just give my kid to you and your religion when you don't even go to church?
No,
when
but
you want to.
I get what you're saying. Last week when we started our conversation, I said I don't know about other cultures, but in the Zulu culture there is isiko, and then there's tradition, and then there's culture. The other is compulsory. The other is what we learn as we.
Which one is the culture? Is
tradition.
Tradition is compulsory.
Tradition is compulsory. The culture is what you pick up as you move
anyway.
on. The culture evolves. But I think what you are saying right now, it boils down to that. Which one is culture? Which one is tradition? That is tradition. It can't be culture.
And does it mean that
it is compulsory that we are because you're not married to this girl, so you need to buy this child.
But then does it mean that when he has lobola the child, can he do everything he wants? Can the child go to his church? The parents again are still gonna say, no, you didn't marry the mother of the child, so the child cannot do this.
But that's the thing, not even about church.
Realistically, that's not that shouldn't be the case, but practically that's what happens.
But that has been traditionally, it has been done that
way.
Once I marry you, you forget about yourself.
And
like you come in here, even your kids, like they follow. And this is what I'm saying.
When you say once you marry someone and you forget about that, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But this is just something that came to me like during the week, because I came across these two ladies. They are married and they live a certain way, they dress a certain way, and whatever the case may be. And sometimes I meet this kind of people, and in my head I'm like, I just want to shake you so hard and be like, lady, what happened to you? When did you lose yourself? When did everything had to do with the next person but you?
And that's a narrative that will be changed.
That's a story for another day. I just had to put it out there because it frustrates me as not only a modern woman, but as, I don't want to go as far as say as a staunch feminist, but as a feminist, anything.
But it goes...
What happened to you?
But
what
it goes to the same thing that we're talking
voice?
about. It goes to the same thing to say, if religious practices or belief practices at home are different. And it's even worse. Say here in the family, in a setup where we married, we're raising kids in the setup, even
Yeah.
though we're different, we can try and manage it. Now, there's children who are out there. And that side, every, what is this, Good Friday, they drive on the N1, right? And they are doing like, oh no, why are they doing that? Oh, every Friday evening they go to, I don't know if they still go to Pretoria West there.
I don't know. I
But
don't
you
care.
understand those kind of things.
Yeah, but like.
And also, even just belief system to say, even if it's the same churches, the same similar churches might not even believe in miracles. Like, why are you raising people from the dead?
Right?
And then I
It's
start,
like
when I
when
go to
as
that
a
church,
human being,
oh,
yeah,
when
let's
I
run
buy
away
water.
from the fact that as a woman, but as a human being, when the hell did you lose your voice? When the hell did you lose your sense of being?
But
like,
you know what that
how are
does?
you controlled
But then
by
I
the
think-
external forces?
I think religion is the thing that makes us so confused. You know, it does. It makes
But
us
they
so
think,
confused.
but they think the funny thing is, whomever is preaching this religious in whatever form, they think it brings us to the
No,
way.
because of that's what you must do, right? When you preach something, you must preach so that people can believe,
But
right?
guys, let's
But
not
then-
forget
100%,
that. Let's not
100%.
forget that we're talking about how do you then bring up children in that
That's why
situation.
But
Because
when
remember,
you
I'm trying to
are
break
a
it down.
confused human being as an individual and as an adult, how do you then bring this whole world of religion and tradition and culture to your
Mara,
child?
yeah.
No,
That's
but
the
remember, the child is it's our child. Something must happen. So that's what I'm saying, guys. This whole religion thing, confusing. Again, it takes us back to us as human, as partners. It doesn't have to matter if I'm ZCC, you are whatever. We
Or
have
ngiyapahla.
kids, we must
No,
Like,
Mara,
what's
do you
wrong
know-
with ukupahla
but
kwami? What if I
do
teach
you
my
understand
kids?
now?
What if I teach my kids ukupahla? What's wrong with ukupahla to even begin with?
But guys, do you understand now the comment that you read? Uri, whoever wrote that, he's trying to avoid, for example, that setup wherein people are doing things that are different
Yeah.
in the same
Oh yeah, yeah.
family setup.
Yeah.
So do you understand where he's coming from? And that's what I'm saying. It's his preference to say he doesn't want that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Where now you are busy ushising people up right? In the house. Because whoever you went to out there told you, no, you must do 1, 2, 3 and do it in our bedroom. And then to Yanunga, I come back home, my bedroom is like
It's
smelling. And then I'm not in that thing. First of all, you might even
we
try,
get you. I get you.
you might even try and hide it from your partner first thing, so that he doesn't get to know, right? Mina mangifika lapho, I feel hear, smell things that are burning, and I'm thinking, long first one lawyer, man.
Can I there's something this is so funny because I came across this last week, if I'm not mistaken, and I was like, oh my gosh, how did you think, like, such an irony that you just tweeted this and we are literally talking about co-parenting. Patuma Kware, last week he tweeted, how do couple with different cultural, spiritual and religious belief find a middle ground? Who decides what will be done for the kids, or do they mix it all up? And how are such debates negotiated with in-laws? I'm fascinated by the combo.
That's what I'm saying. Like this whole religion actually, it confuses everything. Can we try by all means to coexist? Coexisting means like you bring what you got, I bring what I got, and then we find a common ground. But this whole thing of us be fighting, or you're not gonna take my kid to jump whatever, and then you're not gonna take my kid to be sprinkled with water. Can we find, because at the end of the day there's two religions and then they all are the same. It's Christianity, all of them.
Yep.
It's Christianity, both of them. So I believe like we believe in the same God, right?
Yeah.
So whether the child was sprinkled with water at 6 months, and now the child is older, she wants to do whatever. Why do we have to? Can we find a common ground? I'm ZCC, you are
Mzalane.
Wantaluzana Mzalane.
Yeah.
Can we find a common ground? That's it. Because of this whole thing of don't, this whole thing does not work out, does not even
Yeah.
help the kids at the end of the day. So we must just coexist, learn to coexist and co-parent really, and teach our kids both our religion, so that they can make their choices later on the stage.
But it's not
Okay,
easy.
cool. But okay, before we even move forward, just can I just interject right there? I look. I'll just pick four comments for me,
Okay.
4 replies on that tweet that stood out for me. One said, this is Sunyat. She said, "My dad is Catholic, but my mom never churched. She only started churching when I was only in my 20s. My dad would take us to church and would leave her at home sleeping. He didn't impose it on her,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a deal breaker either.
Yeah.
They confused on commonality and differences."
They coexisted. I don't want to go to church. You want to go to church?
Right?
Yeah.
That was the
Kids,
first
where
one.
do you want to go? Yeah.
The second one was like, "A good friend of mine has been married for 12 years now. She has no interest in church. Hubby is a Catholic and takes the kid. The daughter recently had first communion. Mom was there on the day to support,
Yeah.
but otherwise never goes with
That's
them.
it. Yeah.
They too focus on commonality."
For
Second
for
person who's
support,
speaking
I
about
can go.
commonality.
Yeah,
The third one is saying, "I was raised as in a Christian family that didn't practice amasiko, then married a very traditional Xhosa man. As much as his amasiko practice are all new to me, but I practice where needed. The kids get to have their traditional imbeleko, which includes the slaughtering of a goat." Compromise, once again.
Coexisting.
Commonality,
Supporting each
coexisting.
other.
And the last one is,
Respect,
the last one is, "I have faced spiritual differences before. I was okay with us being different in our conversations, and he asked when will it what will happen to our kids when we decide to have them. I left the relationship and went on to find someone who believes in what I believe
the
in."
same thing like that guy, save yourself trouble and marry the same person as you. But yeah, great comments there. Great.
No, those
And
are
also-
really valid points
They are
and
valid
very
points.
valid
But
comments,
also, let
right?
me play the devil's advocate. Say, we're talking common, right?
Yeah.
It says, get somebody who's common with you.
Commonality
Now-
is everything,
now,
guys, in a
Say the
relationship.
relationship for some reason doesn't work
Or
out.
friendship.
After they've got kids, it doesn't work out, they break up. She goes and gets married on the other side and they're practicing other things. Do you understand? You cannot really get out of it. I think at the end of the day, the choice should be when that child is grown, must then be able to choose. But here's the trick. The child can only choose from the things that they know.
From the things that has been
Yeah,
presented
that's been
to them.
exact. To say,
No. They can
Okay.
actually later on explore on their own. They remember
Oh,
they
No,
so
yes,
it can,
that's-
it's
No,
two
they
things.
go
It's
to
things,
school,
it's
they
things
have
that they
friends.
have been presented
Yeah,
with,
that they are
and things
exposed
that
to.
they learn on their
Yeah,
own.
on their
Okay.
own.
Yeah.
So
No,
all
Get
that
that.
is going to, at the end of the day, is going
Inform
to make
their
them,
decision.
Yeah,
It's going to
make
inform
them-
their choice.
Yeah,
Okay,
their
cool.
choice.
Yeah,
But
so
at
that-
the end of the day, let's present everything to them. Like here.
But that's what I'm saying. When they are still younger, right? This is the problem that we have. Look, guys, we're not trying to solve everybody's problem. But what we are trying to say is that there is a problem wherein the kids are still young. A certain parent, because they live with a child, they feel like they must decide for that child.
Yeah.
When that child goes to visit the other parent who's doing something different, it can even get to the level where if I go to ZCC, for example, and I know, okay, whoever I'm co-parenting with goes to a different church or goes to, let's say, Abasalwan. I don't like what Abasalwan does, right? I start to restrict the child from going to visit because I know Sundays they're going to go there and then fall under the power. And now this side, we don't do that.
Mistakes.
Oh, this person actually continued. The one
Yeah.
who said, "I faced spiritual differences before and was okay with being different." On our conversation, he asked what will happen if we have kids, type of thing. And I left the relationship and went on to find someone who believes in what I believe in. She continues to say, "Families got involved. They both made valid points. I realized I'm not ready to compromise. leaving was the best decision. 6 months down the line, he got married to someone who believed in whatever that he believed in, and right now I'm with someone who believes with what I believe in.
But what if we do not believe in the same thing? Can't we be together? And we love each other and all, but can't
I
we
think
be
they are avoiding
together?
My girl just came on WhatsApp with
But then
one.
I love you. So
Look,
we love
guys,
each
you guys
other.
don't understand. My girl just came with one sentence and one sentence only. The most influential, convincing partner wins.
You see?
Literally,
that girl is gonna come up with
like she
I'm
just
the man.
came on my
I'm the
conversation
man.
and the most
Yeah, but I should
influential
not
one.
convince you by just saying I'm the man, I'm the man.
Because
you know?
of that's why I'm saying there's a lot of things involved. Men will just come with le bagolo. Bagolo will come ka tsela gore ngwana ke wa monna. I mean, it's like you know.
Look, did I we spoke on that last week, and I
We
said
touched on
if the guy, we're not married and it doesn't look like we're gonna salvage or whatever is left of our relationship, but we are having a child or we have a child together, I personally, again, this is a decision that was informed based on what I've seen going around me as, growing up. Uguti, at the end of the day, if he does right by the family, by any means, he can have the child.
Me too, I'm for that. Like, what's the
Are you, right?
No, I'm for that.
Like,
this thing
you've
of
paid the
child is
damages.
suffering, stay
You've
with me, but you've got all the means to raise your
Right?
It's not your child, it's our child.
It's our child.
Decisions
And you
must
have
come
a better chance, you have
Yeah.
better financial stance to take care of our
raising
child
them.
other than me.
Yeah, then
So
We touched
why
on that
not?
a bit,
Why
but-
not?
but guys-
But I think another thing that we did is we never really got into the technicalities, not only the traditional part of it, but just in the general technical part of it.
And we might not be-
Let's not even add tradition into it. Just being realistic and being practical about things, and in the actual sense of things. Yes, he may have not gone home to pay for the damages and lobola the child, or whatever the case may
But
be,
he's taking
but
care of-
he's in a better or a proper
Environment.
financial
Yeah.
stance to take care of our
and
child.
providing for the kid as
And
you
But-
know,
but
yes,
also-
but why
but
can't
somebody-
we
but no.
might as well just be like, okay, cool,
But if
let
it's
me put you on
support,
the birth
if it's financial
certificate.
support or otherwise, somebody can ask you, why can't he, instead of him wanting to live with the child, why can't he support that child when they're living with you, for example?
But
No,
that's the thing,
maybe-
they don't mind.
Yeah.
But it's that thing you're going to let me make a typical example. I was maybe studying in UP, met some accountant or some attorney, or whatever the case may be, made me pregnant, whatever the case may be. I'm still in school. I'm pregnant. Oh, I just had this baby. Whatever. And he did not say this child is not mine. He's like,
He's
by any means,
accepting,
I'm
yeah.
accepting. So why must I then make my child suffer when
Yeah.
this guy
You
is
can
on
take
some?
the better
I am
part.
because
really.
of Kohaya, they say no. This guy cannot take the child because of Aisamu Loboli. You know where the issue is.
But he's taking
That
care of
time I'm
the child.
struggling and Wana Tanta is kolong and all that.
You
and
know
you're
what?
doing everything.
I get you guys, and that's why I think the parent who is better off to take care of the child should, and not just financially,
Yeah.
every emotionally and
Because of
otherwise.
But D,
I'm
the
not
thing-
giving enough emotional because of I'm struggling.
Exactly.
You
Right?
are okay. You always say, like as long as the child is happy from,
And then you
can
get to
balance.
visit the child
Yeah.
comes to visit
Yeah,
you.
and the
But
child
guys,
is
I want to
happy.
ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing this whole thing where, okay, remember, and I'll always go back to the person who says, I want somebody who's like in line with me when it comes to religion. You guys are saying, let's expose the kids, right?
Yeah.
Fair enough. So I want to have a question like this.
Different strokes for different folks.
Exactly. Say you've
Yeah.
got a child, right? Your belief system is on the African ways of doing things. Wherein, for example, and then let's say I've got a child with you. Your ways are the African ways. At home, when you start to say, when the child is crying and all these things, and then at
Funa
night
babadi. Or funa bantu
they must go and perform some rituals, you know.
Yeah.
on my side, but yeah,
Mina
at my house, now I grew up with the Christianity thing. We don't do that. Now your child, who we share, is crying. Then we are happy.
Can I ask you something, D?
Where do you go with your child?
Before I answer that question, but
I want to answer.
Let's answer this one and then we go.
Maybe the answer lies in what I'm about to ask as well.
Okay.
You are a Christian person from Venda, or whatever the case may be. I'm a Zulu woman, and you have your kid with me, and ekhaya umntwana make restless or whatever the case may be. See what she's in
Well, in my situation, you live with the child.
And then umntwana comes down
when she's with you.
Yeah, and then there's a certain tree that is called in Yamazan. I don't know what kind of a tree is it or what kind of a whatever it is, but you shisa that thing, and then obviously the child will inhale it, and then they'll calm down. But now as I'm older, I'm thinking that thing is just like a drug that just drugs the child.
Yeah, but then guys, you have to understand.
It's not that deep, y'all.
Remember that you take, what do you take for sleeping pills? Do you know what they're made out of? Do you know what they're made out of? So that Yamazan might have been something in there. So that's what I'm saying. No, guys, let's not even laugh.
It might be something that obviously is not, it's something that obviously makes the child sleep, and also as an adult you'll be wide awake. But it's like, Sesame Street saying Yamazan,
but it works. And it's like, okay, what is important here, guys? The important thing is it to correct the situation, or is it to laugh over? Because at the end of the day, the child is okay, right? Right. And then the other side, just like you said,
temporarily so.
No, just like you said. Let's say now they say take the child or ask a cow, and the child comes back okay. Guys, what do you do?
Wait. Now this.
But we don't have by the river for free.
But we don't have to make jokes about what other people believe.
No, I get
Remember that this whole medical thing is just a new thing. We are Africans at the end of the day. We've been using these nyamazane things and all.
But what if nyamazane really KB is not like umuti that maybe chases away whatever evil spirit the child sees, but it's just that muti that just
said the child sees evil spirit.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's the case.
Stop saying things and then you try to put other things, and it's not.
I get you. I totally understand you, my
friend.
But I'm just saying,
find out
with
first.
a logical thinking of a person that I am now.
Find out first before you can make judgments. Other people seriously believe in the Yamazan,
and for
it's
the
working
longest time,
thank you.
I did too. I got to a point in my life personally as lonely,
but it's been working.
And I said to myself, but what if this is just a tree that and it just makes my
maybe it was a bit, it was
right?
No, but it is a tree, just like everything.
I get it. No, I get what you're saying, KB, and I'm not taking anything away from what you're saying. And I'm not sitting here and trolling other people's beliefs and trolling
herbs, because I believe in herbs. I'm just saying I can go to a chemist and buy pills.
Of course, definitely.
So
I'm just saying there are two things that can come out of the situation. It can either be one person who's gonna be like, fuck this. This is just like common sense. You should start this thing, the child sleep. And then there's gonna be someone who'll be like, no, but really, this is what works. And I'm not sitting there and dissing anybody and maybe trolling anybody's belief or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, at some point in your life, you may or may not get to a point where you're like, whatever.
Okay, guys, I wanna go back to my question. I'm saying, I'm Christian. Your child, you are saying to be introduced to the ancestors. Now, I don't believe in the ancestors. What do you do with a child?
Yo, guys, can I be honest with you? I have no idea. This is my honest truth, and I'm not gonna sit here.
I think I'll take a haircut as
I am not gonna sit here and
what?
try to justify it and try to make excuses and try to come up with ways and whatever. Angazi.
This happened
it
in my
in your
life. Yeah,
okay.
it happened in my life. Like, okay, what if I got pregnant and I don't know who's the father of the kid because I slept maybe with 2 guys at the same time. Then here when the child gets sick, where do I take the child? East or west? You know, or what if you said it's not your child? What if, fine, I'm pregnant and then you say, no, this is not my child. What do I do with the child? Because of now the child is not yours and I know that the child is yours. And you say, no, this child is not coming, is like definitely not mine. What do we do in the meantime? You know, while we waiting for you to gather money to go do.
Do you see why I say angas?
But you see, and that's a different take as well. Ne? But I'm saying now, I've accepted. We're co-parenting.
Yeah. Okay,
this is my child, right?
Say you
both
know.
That, like, we
say you both know. You know for a fact that this guy is the baby dad, and this guy knows for a fact that definitely this is my child. What then in that?
And because the thing is, remember, guys,
I have no idea, guys. Just keep up the conversation.
So we're not disputing the fact that the baby is ours.
We don't dispute the paternity.
The child visits and everything. They know the other side of the family. But I'm saying now, remember, I'm trying to get back to what you read, Loni. Remember, guys, I'm trying to get to this train of thought. When people are saying, hey, I want common things, maybe that's their experiences. Now I'm saying, we're not common. Where now you believe if the child is doing 1, 2, 3, and even at home they're telling no, this child wants the father. At the father they must do right back having komu or whatever.
Sometimes the child just wants to be held by their father and they keep quiet. After they've been screaming the whole damn day.
No, but
sometimes isn't that natural thing?
But guys, I'm saying now from my side. You're gonna call me and say, hey, your child, but the older people are saying, older people are saying you must do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like, hell no, I don't do that.
Dakaro,
what do you then do?
I was about to ask
who said
that? No, who said that the child needs the father?
The elders.
And
the elder, you and the elders, because that's what you believe in. You, the mother.
Wait, how did the elders know?
No, you remember, is that tradition, is that beliefs?
No, but then I will question that. That's why kids say
KB, you are not questioning. You are also part of it.
Yeah, what if you are part of it? You are so indoctrinated that this is
like
what
I
it
believe
is.
in that.
No, I'm not asking what you believe. I'm not asking what you believe.
No,
I'm saying somebody out there.
But then, Dakar, I'm saying this because of I was always asking my mother, but then why are we talking about this?
But that's you, KB.
Because
that's you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Your next door neighbor who is a female doesn't really question things the way you do.
But then why do we have to do what they're doing for next door?
No, I'm saying.
Understand the question. My question, as much as it was to you, I'm saying here's the lady that I have a baby with, right?
Generally.
Listen.
But listen, I got you. The child needs to be slaughtered something by the fathers, and the fathers say, I don't do that.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. We have to go back to who said that.
No, we're not questioning that.
That
now.
is what
you and your family. That's what you believe. You as the mother and your family.
Scenario
you call me and say the child is crying 1, 2, 3, 4.
And then you say you don't.
I said no, I can't. And when you believe that, remember that's your belief system.
Let's say that's your belief system. You're not questioning it. Let's say that's your belief system.
Yeah.
You believe when this is happening like this, it's like this, it's like this, it's like that. How do you then strike the balance?
But I think no. There are 3 other things that you can actually do. I think that's the answer they gave me. You know, I'm always questioning stuff. They say there are options. In tradition, there are always options. That's why most of the time when you question, they say don't question because of sometimes they'll be saying something, but they
ignore the father because he doesn't want to do take the option.
Yeah, they can say we are gonna be playing and then utopa mua will be playing la mama.
No, but you can't come to my parents' mami.
No. I get it. Now we're trying to do this thing without you. I get it. You turned us down. So now the parents will always come with like a different something like okay, we can go kuma biteng and kuli biteng la kuma mang and dopa whatever and mix with water, and with tradition there's always there's a solution.
And imagine me being the father now.
No, you don't know. Remember you turned me down, so you won't know what we did.
But now I've got this in my mind. I know that's what you do. Can you see that it complicates life for the guy who was asking? And that's what I was saying. From his experience or from whatever, as a preference, it's him who's saying what? No, I'd rather be common with it so that I avoid those kind of things.
No, but then Dakalo, still, your point today is the fact that people, if I was another person listening, I would say you want people to marry where they are comfortable, where they do the same thing.
No, I'm
but
not
then
saying
can
that.
we talk to a situation whereby now, Dakar is me and you, we somehow find ourselves with 2 kids, and now we must get married because of we are into each other, we love each other, we have kids. The only thing that's left is for us to get married. We can't divorce, we can't say
Can
no,
I ask
let's
you
run away
something
because
before you
of-
continue? When you say 2 kids, you mean the kid you came with, the kid he came
It-
with,
no,
and then
no,
there's this
it doesn't matter. We are, let me
blended.
just say it's a family now. Maybe
Okay,
I was
cool.
pregnant 3 years ago and then I'm pregnant again.
Okay,
I
cool.
mean, now I'm stuck with you, Dakar, and then you are Venda Amtwana. Like, what do we do? Can we stop saying, because of, I can see that you're trying to say, to back to the guy who said it's better if you marry in your same tribe or same religion
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
But
No,
then
no, no.
what if we find ourselves in a
No,
situation
no,
whereby
no,
we
no. I'm not
just-
saying that it's better or it's not better. I'm trying to say there are people who think like that to avoid
Definitely.
that. They don't
Yeah,
wanna
no, they
go
are
through
safe.
it.
They are safe, but
they
can
don't
we-
want to go through
what
it.
about
And I'm not
those
saying
who
that- for me,
And I get
okay,
both
let me talk
of your
about me.
posts.
Now I'll
Then
convert you.
I get where
If-
she's
if
coming
you-
from, and I get where she's answering your question from. I get where your question stems from.
Yes,
You know,
and
I get
was just
both
trying to
sides,
show you that there's
right?
that,
And
those
I'm saying,
dynamics.
Yeah, you can be safe or face this thing.
Yeah.
But guys, okay, for me
Can-
personally,
last-
if
last-
I find
last-
myself in that situation, I'm gonna try by all means. I'll go to that. Whoever is convincing with,
Right.
I'll try and convince him.
So we're coming back to what commonality and coexisting. At the end of the day, that is what we're
Because
coming
there's no way
to.
that you're going to be banning things that will,
So
you know.
can we sit
But then
here?
again, Dakar, if I'm banning things in my own culture and then I'm with you, you don't ban things. We
How
need
does
to
it
sit
affect
down.
each other?
In
Me
the same
and
house.
you, no, it's like baby.
Now you must smell spirits.
No,
your
no,
ancestors'
no, but
spirits.
No,
How do
I'm
you
not
know
gonna
that
win.
the spirits and
Listen,
ancestors-
I'm not gonna win, Dakar. It doesn't mean that I have to win, you know. But we can say, okay, baby, there's a spare bedroom, ne? Can you ban
I see.
in the spare bedroom? That's what I'm saying. That's
You're
where
gonna smell in the
communication.
house,
But-
No, okay, I can go
Baby.
outside. We can figure
Yeah,
something
please.
out.
Baby.
We can figure.
Before
That's
you
why.
even come
sharp.
to the gate.
Sharp.
As long as
I
we
get it.
follow-
Actually, if you bend, don't come back.
Oh my gosh, you are the worst.
Might
You
as
don't
well
know
take your
anything
name.
about compromise.
Like he doesn't want to come. Like
This guy doesn't know
This guy
anything
doesn't
about
want anything.
coexisting and compromise.
compromising.
Like he knows nothing
we
about
have to talk about this. I'll either ban in the kitchen, I'll ban in the outside toilet, I'll ban in it under the tree. Because I don't think they really tell you like ban in the
But
bedroom.
guys, okay,
You come with
let's
instructions
just
from
come
the-
back to this and just close
from
it
the
off
witch doctors,
because
you come with
we
instructions.
we
But he
literally
take his
we've
underwear.
run out of
No,
time.
okay, I know. But
We've
take
ran
his
out of
underwear.
time. We need
See,
to wrap it
take
up.
his
And I'm
underwear.
giving you guys 5 minutes
Ban in
only.
the
And
bedroom.
5 minutes only.
Okay,
I'm
can
not
I
joking
start?
with this.
Can I
yeah,
start?
cool.
Okay. Take his underwear, boil it,
But
dry
drink
it,
water.
drink that water.
Yeah.
Do you understand? They
You
look
come
at
home
this.
early.
Yeah.
And then he comes home early that day and you believe that in
I don't
heaven.
want to be entangled with
Hold
that.
up. There's hold up and then there's hold up.
Yeah.
Right now it's like hold up.
Hold up.
What?
Let's stop listening to people.
Yeah, but
Let's
you
go
understand?
back. What are you saying again?
Okay, let me move out of there. But
Yeah.
my final point, I wanted to raise this when we're talking about visitation. How do you manage, and I'm going to leave this as a question with you guys, you can talk about it. How
Yeah.
do you manage this whole thing of, say the one parent is well off, the
Yeah.
other is not.
Yeah.
The holidays that the child gets from the other side are not so nice. Because the parents that side are trying to do whatever they can.
Yeah.
But when the other side goes on a holiday, they really go out.
It's a holiday.
No, they take obviously they come and take the other child
I
that
can
side.
gladly speak
Guys,
on
do
that.
you then say, hey Nina guys, no ho, don't come and take my
No,
child.
I can gladly speak on that one. I personally can gladly speak on that one. Look, my kids at the end of the day, they know that when it's with me or with my side of the family, this is as best as we could do. They understand that this is the life that they're living on a daily basis. Also, it had to be me who sits down with them and be like, yo, I can't afford that kind of lifestyle that you live with your daddy, but when it happens, go live your best lives out there. Go do your thing. There's gonna come a time where I can maybe afford that, but right now this is what I can afford, and right now this is what he can afford with his family and whatever the case may be. just go out there and have your best time. Whether it's luxurious or it's less luxurious, just go out there and have your
Life
best time.
is life.
Life is like, also life is like that. There are highs and the lows, the good, the bad, the ugly, or whatever the case may be. In life, you don't get one thing and one thing only. You get.
That's what I'm saying.
you get
Prepare.
different things.
Prepare.
For
your
me,
kids
that was
for
the thing. It was like, this is what I can afford. This is what my family can afford, and this is what we are about, and that is what they are about. They're gonna come a time maybe where we will be able to match that, and maybe they're gonna come a time where we don't. But it is what it is, type of thing. For me, that's how I
No,
went about
I
it.
think that works. Even that works for my family. They know that well. Hey, mama and everything in the house. Woo!
It's a party.
But then again, mama is not in the house. Again, we must be here and wait for mama
Exactly.
to come.
It's
you
that
know?
thing of having
Because-
confidence in our kids and saying, I'm gonna expose you to all the worlds that are out there,
You
to all the
prepare them
things
for
that are out there.
everything that comes.
And not everything is gonna be the same. Some things are gonna be good, some things are gonna be bad, some things are gonna be at your standard, some things are not gonna be at your standard. But that's just how life is. And maybe just take what is presented to you and make the most out of it.
Yeah.
That was just me. That is how I went about it.
Parents must be able to speak to their kids,
No,
talk to their
on the
kids
real,
and explain
on the real.
situations.
Last comment I got from this whole religious thing, my dad was into abapanzi, enza konke ekufanele akwenze. My mom is a Christian woman. She would prepare utwala besintu for him, but didn't join him maseka phahla. He didn't pray, didn't go to church. As ingane besilandela esitshelwa khona, I was 14 masikhululwa.
Yeah. Which is what we've
You
been
see,
saying.
they were 14 when their parents were like, look,
Yeah,
you can
do
choose
you.
whatever that you want
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
But I've supported your dad on his Christian journey. He has supported me on my journey
own
of
journey.
Uphahla. At the end of the day, you guys are adults now. You guys are young adults. You guys are teenagers. You can make up minds of your own. You can decide. I think that's the only way you can go
and
about
I think
it,
it's all about
honestly.
belief.
Well, not the only way, but maybe the best, for lack of a better phrase, and in inverted commas, the best way you can go about it.
Yeah, because if the dad believes that our pansy, he should introduce his own kids to our
Yeah.
pansy. Let him introduce his kids to our pansy.
And his kids
Maybe
should
he
know
believes-
that they are being introduced to our path.
because of that's what the father does,
Yeah.
right? So like let the kids do that as well. If
If mama says we're going to
We
get
go-
baptized,
you know, as partners again support each other. If you
Yeah.
want to take the kids to introduce them to our pansy kumabike, take them. If I want to take the kids to church, I will take them to church. But at some
Definitely.
point, the kids will choose for
on their
themselves.
own. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what we teach
Yeah.
them. We can teach them upatha and teach them to go to church. But at the end of the day, they become atheists. What are you going to do?
I think our responsibility as parents is to get to a point where we like, this is what I'm about, this is what your dad is about, and this is what the both of us are about.
And the kids learn
And
from
at the
that
end of
too.
the day, you guys, this is
Yeah.
how we are going on this journey with you, but at the end of the day, you guys need to make it decisions on your own, because we made it decisions of our own as your parents,
Yeah.
with our parents and with whatever that we were brought up with. So I honestly think that with everything that has to do with co-parenting, we need to come to a point where we bring our kids on the table and be like, this is what we want for you, this is what we wish for you, and this is what we are going to do for you. But at the end of it all, you guys need to decide on your own what is it that you want for yourselves, because we can't live your lives for you, we can't shape your lives for you. You guys can only do that based on the guidelines that we are giving you, and these are the guidelines we are giving you. From that, you're on your own, you can decide on your own. True that, right?
So it's back to the parents again.
So it goes back to communication. At the end of it all, we communicate as parents, we communicate as a family, we communicate with our kids as well, with our blended families, because at the end of the day, when we're co-parenting, we can either co-parent as a nucleus family, or we can either co-parent as a blended family. And that still works, guys. At the end of the day, co-parenting still works in whatever way that you can as long as